They ain't called me to go to the Rock Nation brunch. They haven't called me to go to the Gold Party.
To accept being honored.
They haven't called me when we offered to honor Jay-Z at the award show. They didn't call me to go to the press conference about striking the deal with the NFL while we were kneeling for Kaepernick. They didn't call me to ask me what I thought about her hair care product. They didn't call me to offer a free bottle of her perfume. I didn't get to go backstage at all. And I'm not even going to say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy. Did I tell y'all what I've done? Okay. I'm going to tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now. Beyonce probably 4 or 5 times.
Did she know who you were?
Yeah. So when she walked in, she saw me and she was whispering to Jay, and she was hugging Jay, and she looked at me and she said, "It's Hollywood online." Yvette knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts. Yvette know I got the receipts. I got them. Now if I get that message to Beyonce,
yes,
I can get it to be. Oh, I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce.
She needs to know.
And I think people like her publicist, who I love, and I'm just being critical. That's just what I do. You know that, Yvette. We're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland because I say this about, then it's gonna be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts. The receipts I just told y'all about, then I'll put those.
Years, but I'm very protective, and I always treated her like my baby. Mm-hmm. And one day she told us this little bully, this little guy in school. She was only about 9. Was really her. So me and my girls all showed up, and we surrounded him, and we're like, "You've been messing with my sister? I'm telling you, you've been warned, and tell him Destiny's Child is warning you." So we were real gangster.
God for protecting me. Thank you, God. I'd like to thank my Uncle Johnny, who's not here, but he's here in spirit. I'd like to thank my parents, my father, my mother, for loving me and pushing me. I'd like to thank my beautiful husband, my beautiful 3 children who are at home watching. I'd like to thank the queer community for your love and for inventing this genre. God bless you.
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices.
What do you do when you feel iced out by the most powerful couple in music? If you're Jason Lee, you go live, look dead into the camera, and remind the world you've got receipts. And not just any receipts, but the kind that allegedly involve Beyonce and her own sister Solange. And that's where this stops being industry shade and starts feeling like a ticking time bomb. Jason didn't just vent about not getting invites. He practically issued a warning. If certain doors keep closing, if certain calls don't come through, he might just open his vault. The implication? Whatever he knows doesn't just brush the surface of the Carter empire. It could allegedly reach into family territory. Immediate stakes. Immediate tension. Because when someone says they can ruin a brand as carefully curated as Beyonce's, people don't scroll past that. They lean in. Now let's talk motive, because every bombshell needs a backstory. Jason has been very vocal about feeling excluded from the rooms where power circulates. No invitation to events honoring Jay-Z. No access to the big press moments. No backstage privileges. No glossy PR packages. According to him, he's been overlooked repeatedly, despite claiming proximity and influence. And the internet really started buzzing after that viral clip where Beyoncé appeared to gracefully, but very clearly, avoid him at an event while he tried to secure a photo. Social media replayed that moment like it was a championship highlight. To critics, it looked like a snub. To supporters, it was coincidence. Jason, however, insisted she knew exactly who he was, even claiming she acknowledged his platform. But perception is everything, and that clip painted a picture of someone on the outside looking in. And when someone feels shut out of the kingdom, sometimes they start shaking the gates. That's when this narrative escalates from bruised ego to open threat. Jason hasn't just criticized the Carters in passing. He's repeatedly accused them of gatekeeping, of controlling narratives, of influencing who gets access and who doesn't. He suggested that speaking too freely about them can come with consequences. And while he hasn't dropped concrete evidence of the explosive claims he hints at, the mere suggestion that he possesses damaging information has been enough to keep the conversation alive. It's a strategic move, implied depth, implied danger. Never fully show your hand. Because once you release everything, the leverage disappears. So instead, he teases. He dangles. He says he can get messages directly to Beyoncé. He implies that if opportunities dry up, those receipts might suddenly see daylight. And now the tension isn't just about gossip. It's about power, access, and who really controls the narrative. But here's why invoking Solange's name changes everything. For years, Beyoncé and Solange represented a rare kind of celebrity sisterhood. Publicly supportive, fiercely protective, visibly bonded. Solange once spoke openly about how much she learned from watching her big sister navigate fame. Beyoncé, in turn, told stories about defending Solange from bullies when they were kids, pulling up with her crew like a protective force field. Their dynamic felt solid, almost untouchable. And then came the elevator incident heard around the world. Solange confronting Jay-Z in a moment that became one of the most dissected pieces of pop culture footage in modern history. Through it all, Beyoncé remained composed, and the sisters emerged publicly aligned. That moment, oddly enough, cemented their image as ride or die. Solange wasn't just a sister, she was a defender. So when rumors began suggesting distance, missed public acknowledgments, subtle shifts in visible support, insider whispers that something feels off, fans notice. Because you can't build a decade-long narrative of loyalty and not expect people to clock even the slightest change. That's why Jason hinting that his alleged receipts could involve Solange hits differently. It reframes everything. Suddenly, the story isn't just about a media personality feeling snubbed. It's about whether there are cracks in one of pop culture's most iconic family bonds, and whether those cracks, real or imagined, are being used as leverage in a much bigger game. At this point, no one has produced definitive proof of any explosive wrongdoing. What we have are implications, long-standing tensions, viral moments, and a masterclass in strategic ambiguity. But in the world of celebrity power, perception can be just as potent as proof. And the real question lingering over all of this isn't just whether Jason is bluffing. It's why he's so confident that even hinting at Solange's involvement is enough to make the entire internet hold its breath. For years, the image of Beyoncé and Solange felt airtight, polished, powerful, and unbreakable, which is why the smallest shifts have people squinting. It wasn't a dramatic fallout or a public spat that sparked the whispers. It was something far quieter. When Beyoncé took the stage at the Grammys and delivered one of her now iconic acceptance speeches, she thanked God, her family, her husband, her children, her community, but noticeably didn't mention Solange. Now, on its own, that might mean absolutely nothing. Award speeches are emotional, unscripted, and never comprehensive. But in celebrity culture, omissions can echo louder than inclusions. Fans immediately clocked it. Social media replayed the clip. Comment sections filled with questions. Was it intentional? Was it oversight? Or was it simply a moment that the internet decided to turn into a narrative? Then came the Renaissance era. When Renaissance dropped, it wasn't just an album. It was a cultural reset, a bold sonic pivot, a love letter to dance music and queer pioneers. It dominated timelines, headlines, and charts. But eagle-eyed fans noticed something unusual. Solange, who had historically been vocal in supporting her sister, especially during moments of perceived industry snubs, was relatively quiet. No lengthy celebratory posts. No visible online rallying cry. No public deep dives praising the artistry. Again, silence doesn't equal conflict. People evolve. Schedules shift. Relationships mature privately. But when the public is used to a certain display of solidarity, even neutrality feels like distance. And then there are the insiders. Anonymous sources claiming that something feels different. That the sisters aren't as visibly intertwined as they once were. That creative collaborations have slowed. That proximity isn't what it used to be. None of it confirmed. None of it substantiated. But in the celebrity ecosystem, whispers are oxygen. They don't need proof to spread. They just need curiosity. And once curiosity sets in, every detail becomes a potential clue. That's when the rumor storm begins to swirl beyond subtlety. Online forums, live streams, and commentary channels start stacking speculation on top of speculation. Some narratives drag in long-standing conspiracy theories about family dynamics. Others attempt to tie unrelated controversies to the sisters' alleged distance. Names get thrown around. Old headlines resurface. Allegations, many of them unverified and coming from controversial figures, are repackaged and re-amplified. Claims about industry power plays. Claims about hidden tensions. Claims about secrets being kept. It becomes less about one moment and more about an atmosphere. A charged digital cloud where everything feels connected, even if it isn't. To be clear, much of what's circulating online remains just that, circulating. Not confirmed, not legally substantiated, not supported by direct evidence. But volume can create the illusion of weight. And when enough voices repeat a narrative, it begins to feel bigger than its origin. Suddenly, what started as a missing name in a speech transforms into a full-blown theory about fractured loyalty. What began as quiet social media behavior becomes alleged proof of estrangement. The speculation doesn't prove anything, but it amplifies everything. And that amplification is where Jason Lee re-enters the frame. Because when he hints that he has receipts, he's not speaking into a vacuum. He's speaking into an environment already primed to believe there's more beneath the surface. The rumor storm makes his claims feel heavier, even if he hasn't produced a single document. It creates a backdrop where ambiguity feels intentional, where silence feels strategic, where every non-response feels like confirmation to someone. So now we circle back to the central tension. What is Jason actually doing? Is this calculated bluffing? A media-savvy personality leveraging curiosity to stay at the center of the conversation? Is it personal? Resentment over perceived exclusion turning into public pressure? Or is there truly something sitting in a vault somewhere, waiting for the right moment to detonate? Because here's the thing about ticking time bombs. They only matter if there's something inside them. And right now, we're left in that uncomfortable in-between. No definitive fallout. No confirmed receipts. Just subtle shifts, loud speculation, and one very public figure insisting he knows more than he's saying. The silence from the Carter camp only thickens the intrigue. In a world where perception moves faster than proof, the question isn't just whether the sisters are fine. It's whether this entire narrative is smoke or the warning sign before fire.